gold has outperformed almost every asset class in the long run. But what if I told you mining stocks could multiply those gains under the right conditions? Pick the right companies at the right time, and a $10,000 stake could turn into six figures, maybe more. The catch? You will have to bear more risk. Plus, not all mining stocks are created equal. Producers, developers, explorers, and royalty streaming companies have different risk profiles. Today, I'll break down these four types of gold mining stocks and reveal which ones offer the best risk to return trade-off for long-term investors. Mining stocks aren't blue chip investments. They don't move slowly and predictably. Even the biggest players are volatile, cyclical, and sometimes brutal. A company can multiply in value one year and lose 80% the next. Why is that? Because mining stocks are leverage plays on the price of gold. When gold goes up, mining stocks could multiply those gains, but when gold falls, the pain is amplified. That's why investing in mining stocks can be an emotional roller coaster. Success comes from taking the emotions out and focusing on what's important. It comes down to understanding the different profiles of each type of gold mining company. Let's start with producers. These are companies that generate revenue through mining and selling gold. Some producers are big and offer more stable returns, while smaller producers may be more volatile. To break this down further, I classify them into 5 types based on the amount of gold produced. They are major producers, giants like Newmont Mining and Barrick Gold, producing over 1 million ounces of gold a year. They own many mines spread around the world. They're big, stable, but don't always deliver the best returns. The large producers are the next category. These include Evolution Mining, Perseus Mining, and they comprise companies that produce about 500,000 to 1 million ounces. Like the majors, they may own several mines and may operate across different countries. Next are mid-tier producers. These companies produce between 150,000 to 500,000 ounces annually. They may own between 1 to 4 gold mine operations. Some operate in one country, others in a few regions. Examples of these companies include Catalyst Metals, Genesis Minerals, Ramelius Resources, Regis Resources, West African Resources, and West Gold Resources. Moving on to junior gold producers, these companies tend to be single mine operators that produce between 50,000 to 150,000 ounces of gold. Some operate more than one mine in different regions, but they're small in size in such cases. Examples of these companies include Black Cat Syndicate, Ora Banda Mining, and Pantoro Gold. Finally, there are micro producers. At the tail end of the producers are those that produce less than 50,000 ounces. They own small operations, either from legacy mines or a newly developed asset. Examples include Auric Mining and Kingston Resources. So, which producers deliver the best returns? Here's what investors get wrong. Number 1, bigger is always better. And number 2, smaller companies lead to high returns. These are dangerous myths, especially when you are investing in mining companies. Let's start with the bigger is better myth. Majors and large producers may appear more stable, but they often carry more downside risk in bear markets. They have more overhead to maintain. Closing and subsequently restarting a mine isn't like flicking a switch. Therefore, they may continue running a loss-making operation for longer than they want to. How about the second myth? Smaller companies deliver higher returns. Well, not quite. Junior and micro producers may be more flexible since they run fewer operations. They may also have a smaller price tag, meaning that returns could be huge if they grow. However, that isn't always the case. For one, they are risky because they have all their eggs in one operation. If that mine isn't profitable and the company has debt, shareholders may contribute more capital and therefore you have to dilute your holdings. Worse still, you may even lose the lot if the company goes broke. In fact, history shows mid-tiers have delivered the highest average returns over the long run. That's why most experienced investors, myself included, focus heavily on mid-tier producers when building a mining stock portfolio. Next, we have developers. These are companies that aren't producing yet, but they have proven deposits and are in the process of bringing them into production. Developers can deliver spectacular gains if you time your entry right. The pathway of securing funding, building the facilities, and extracting the first ore for processing and selling the final production create substantial value. In short, developers are exciting investments that could offer you potential to generate big gains. However, they come with greater risk than producers. Examples of developers include Barton Gold Holdings, Bright Star Resources, Horizon Minerals, and Rocks Resources. Now, we're going to talk about explorers. These are the wild cards. Explorers don't produce and are not at the stage to build mines. They're prospecting, drilling, sampling, and searching for new deposits. The definition of an explorer is quite broad. On one end, it may comprise a team of prospectors looking for a place to start digging and searching for signs of minerals. On the other, it may be a company with confirmed mineral deposits looking for a funding partner to take it to the next step. Investing in explorers is like gambling in a casino. Should you win the jackpot, you could score big. Successful explorers that uncover a major find can deliver you a handy 1,000% and even as high as 10,000%. For example, Chalice Mining delivered over 7,000% between 2020 to 2021 after it found the world-class Julima deposit. But here's the reality. Most explorers never find a viable deposit. In fact, that happens more often than not. These companies just burn cash, dilute shareholders, and fade away. Examples of explorers that we have right now include Ballard Mining, Great Boulder Resources, Odyssey Gold, Southern Cross Gold Consolidated, and Strickland Metals. So why do people invest in this space? Because the reward that comes with finding a winner can be life-changing. Such gains could outweigh the losses of investing in the many explorers that don't. When you buy explorers, keep in mind you are speculating rather than investing. I suggest you proceed with caution. In a later video, I'll discuss more about how to pick the right explorers. And finally, there are royalty streaming companies. These aren't miners themselves. Instead, they finance miners in exchange for a share of revenue. How do they work? Think of an explorer or developer that needs funding to proceed. They could raise capital from financial institutions, hedge funds, or retail shareholders. However, these companies only provide funds to them. But a royalty streaming company can offer more. These companies are usually run by people who have experience in the mining industry. They are specialized investors with technical know-how. They can offer more than funds, including skilled advice, and therefore can cooperate with the mining company in a partnership. The company profits from being a financier of emerging mining companies, earning returns from its loans through repayment in gold, which are the royalty payments. These arrangements mean the company earns stable and predictable cash flows than producers. This allows them to potentially pay reliable dividends. Royalty streaming companies are a unique investment with an almost blue chip-like quality. The trade-off? Less explosive growth. That's what you get when you opt for lower risk. But in a bear market, this makes royalty companies more appealing as they provide a safe haven in your mining stock portfolio. Now, you may be attracted to royalty streaming companies from what I just said and want to invest in one. However, we don't have one listed in Australia. You will have to invest overseas. Perhaps in the future, there may be one set up for that purpose in Australia. So here's the bottom line. Producers are generating revenue from selling gold. Large producers may deliver more stable returns, while junior and micro producers have more explosive potential, but offer higher risk. Mid-tier producers offer the best risk-return trade-off. Developers are companies that have deposits they want to bring to production. These companies offer explosive upside if they achieve their milestones, create value, and enjoy re-ratings. Explorers are companies that are searching and drilling for mineral deposits. They are more speculative assets akin to the casino of mining investing. A notable find could lead to substantial gains that dwarf that of its more mature counterparts. And royalty companies provide financing to emerging mining companies in return for future gold repayments and a stake in the operation. They have blue chip-like qualities, usually offering stable returns and steady dividends. So, mining companies can supercharge your portfolio, but only if you know where each fit in the life cycle. In my experience, mid-tiers offer the best return for risk reward, and that's where the smart money goes. So in my next video, I'll show you exactly how to value these companies so you don't overpay. You won't want to miss it. Well, that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoy it. Please hit the subscribe, like this video, and tune in for more. Thank you, and God bless.